Have y'all ever felt the need to like super rant about a book? Because that is how Meddling Kids has made me feel. This is supposed to be a horror book that's parodying Scooby-Doo. I am gonna give it 3 stars. I did enjoy the storyline for what it was. I enjoyed the Easter eggs of like references and similarities back to Scooby-Doo for the most part, although at times it felt a little too much and too on the nose. But once you get past the first, quarter of the book, you don't really notice the references as much. I thoroughly enjoyed that most of this book has to do with a location around the Zoinks River. So you will obviously get into that if you ever decide to read it or if you have read it. The issue I had with it was I was jumping back and forth from the physical book and to the audiobook. And I know I probably shouldn't have done that, but I was trying to continue to listen to it while I was cleaning or doing other things that I needed to do. And once I give you these issues that I have with the book, you'll understand why I give you that context. It took me 10 days to read this. Normally it doesn't take me that long, but I kept picking up other books and finishing them because I just was so not feeling this one. But I got this about a year ago in Denver. I bought it at the Tattered Cover bookstore. They are great. They are like 2 stories, got lots of things to explore. Staff was really nice when I was in there, so shout out to them. But yeah, let's just get right into the issues I was having with it. So one of the things that he does, and I know that you're not going to hardly be able to tell, but down here, he splits from regular, just chapter written style to almost like a play style where they've got like Carrie, insert line here, and then in parentheses later, just randomly, they've got actions going on. So I don't know why he felt the need to break it up like this. Like, it really took me out of the story, and I couldn't enjoy it because of that. Like, it just was too much for me to focus. I couldn't stick with the storyline because I was like, hold up, what is happening here? And I know most of that might be because I was listening to the audiobook, but for the most part, I stopped listening to the audiobook and just read the physical book because of this issue. There's also one more issue I had with it. This book, right here, this spot. You would think this is the end of the chapter, and this is the beginning of the next chapter. No. This is where he breaks the 4th wall, and he does it quite a bit. Here it's like, F this, Andy screamed at the intended end of the chapter. Why? He also has done 2 blank lines later or 4 lines above and I don't know why he felt the need to break the 4th wall constantly. It's like he was trying to do an Office sort of thing where it's like, Tim stared at the camera, and I'm just kind of like, I don't like where you're going with this. I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to be reacting, how I'm supposed to be feeling to this. I know writers are creative, and I appreciate their creativity, but I felt like it needed to stay in one format or the other, and because he kept breaking it up like this, it was throwing me off terribly. Another thing I noticed with this book is I didn't know a decent amount of words. I started this on Sunday, so it's been almost a week. And I didn't even start it at the beginning. I started it on page 90. And this is pretty much all words for Meddling Kids that I wrote down that I've never heard of before. Only 2 of them on this page are from another book, because I've decided I'm just going to start writing down all the new words I've never heard of when I'm reading. But I'd like to say, because I read a decent amount, that like I know a very wide selection of words. But this book almost made me feel like I didn't know words at all. And it didn't help that I was researching some of the words that he wrote and everything and looking them up and all that. And it didn't help that I stumbled across an article saying that he has made up a couple words and thrown it in this book. And like, that's, I mean, yeah, sure. New words come about all the time. But with everything else going on in this book, it made me want to scream, why? Why are you doing this? Why am I torturing myself with this? And I know what you're saying. Why didn't you just not finish it? Why did you not just DNF it? I do not like DNFing books. I'm trying to avoid that. And I enjoyed this plotline enough to keep going with it despite the fact that all of these things were breaking me out of the story and throwing me off. So like I said, at the end of the day, it's getting 3 stars from me. Maybe I should have approached it differently. Maybe I would have enjoyed it more at a different point in my life. You know, maybe I needed to be older, maybe I needed to be younger, maybe I just needed to wait 3 months and read some other bad books before then, or, you know, books that I just don't like. I don't really know that there are bad books. Everyone's got a preference and things they enjoy, but moving that point aside, let me know what you guys thought. If you read this book, if you're planning to read this book. I hadn't ever seen any reviews done before I read this book. I kind of went into it mostly blind outside of the synopsis. So hopefully you liked it better than me if you did read it, or maybe we can rant about it together if you hated it, or, you know, if you just felt wishy-washy about it. I'm pretty much in the same boat. So just let me know what you think in the comments.